Hey, good morning. It's Mark Schultz here, and we are at MRO Americas 2022 in Dallas, and it's day 3. And looking forward to today. We've had 2 great days of excitement and really a lot of really good activity. And today I have the opportunity to be able to stand here and talk to a representative of Ramco. And let's just jump right into it. Can you tell everybody watching who you are and what do you do?
Absolutely. First of all, thanks, Mark, for having me on this show here.
Yeah.
And good morning, everyone. And from the floor of MRO Americas in Dallas, my hometown. And like Mark said, we had a tremendous, successful last couple of days at MRO Americas. And I can honestly tell the footfall has been great. And I think the people are coming back. There has been a lot of pent-up demand in the last couple of years. And that's all visible in the kind of conversations we have had in the last couple of days.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy, and it's really fun to be able to be around people and to be able to have conversations.
Fantastic. It's so great to meet people finally in person.
It really is.
Yeah.
So hey, let's talk a little bit about the industry. You know, Ramco is a company which provides enterprise MRO software. And so we'll get into that in a little bit in a minute, but let's talk about the industry. What kind of challenges are you seeing in the industry that people are struggling with right now that are giving it a difficult time for them to be successful in business?
Yeah. So I think clearly there is a tremendous need for people to do more with less. I think that's the motto that we are seeing all over the conversation that we have. And clearly there's a need for productivity improvement, right? I mean, all these major objectives of turnaround time reductions would come naturally with that, but productivity improvement is a very important part of the equation that people are looking for. And how do they can do things more efficiently than what they have been used to doing it.
Yeah, I think that's really a good theme, more with less, because as I've talked to people, you know, here in the last couple of days, people have talked about how we have labor shortages and we have inflationary prices and we have skill shortages. And everybody's trying to figure out how to get the work done as efficiently as possible. And so maybe I could capture it into one thing, is it's efficiency, is what it really is. And so we're really seeing that as a really common theme.
Yeah, and I think that tying to that from the actually nature of the functional business process perspective, clearly there is a stress to go as much mobile and digitize as much as possible. People are also looking to see how they can actually get out of this paper. And this has been going on for quite some time, but I think the technology had been a constraint in the past, but now people are seeing that how you can digitize your task cards and really reduce the whole process of reading your AMMs, CMMs, EMMs over a period of couple of weeks to couple of days. And something that, of course, we have been working on as well. And that's a major part of the conversation.
Yeah, you know, and I know that airlines and MROs and OEMs, they've all been working toward moving, toward digital, but it's really been accelerated. Yeah. And clearly, when I've had conversations with people, they're saying, not just we want to be paperless, but we want to have an efficient integrated digital environment is what they're really looking for.
They ought to be able to ingest all those documents seamlessly, being able to create and extract those tasks, newer changes in those documents as quickly as possible, and then be able to tie those to maintenance programs and be able to execute and visible to the mechanics when they're actually executing those performances.
Yeah. You know, as we walk around this hall, we see a lot of solution providers and things which are really, point solutions, right? And at Ramco, I understand that you have a broader approach to that, more of an enterprise kind of an approach. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that
I think you hit it on a very important point in terms of it's very important for the industry to know who Ramco is in a very broad sense of the word, right? Organizationally, it's important to understand that we are part of a larger billion-dollar group, Ramco Group of Industries, that brings a lot of strength and scale to our overall operations. But more importantly, from the solution perspective, we are truly an enterprise-class applications. In other words, we are not just another maintenance tracking or task card digitization solution, but we bring the maintenance, the MRO solutions, the whole contract management, sales, and capping all of that with finance and accounting module. I don't think there's anybody out there here in the industry from the overall software solutions perspective that can talk about this bigger scale that Ramco brings in. So Ramco has to be looked at from an enterprise class application perspective.
Yeah, and let me add something to that, is that, I've worked at large corporations for many years. I've worked at McDonnell Douglas and, large airlines and at Boeing. And when I first saw Ramco, I don't know how long ago it was, but it was over 10 years ago. And it was a very different product. As I look at the product today, and I've seen the things that it's doing and the interface and the business logic that's contained within it, it's a very, very different product from what it was 10 to 15 years ago.
Absolutely. I think we have really taken advantage of a few broader areas that have emerged from the technology perspective and taken advantage of that in terms of optimizing the overall process. The biggest of that would be the whole AI ML engine that we have brought into the mix that really automates and brings a lot of intelligence into the overall process. That's very important. Other aspect is the whole optimization engine. It's an in-memory optimization engine that we bring to the table, which can help you optimize pretty much anything and everything in terms of your work order scheduling, better forecasting, inventory optimization, and you name it, right? So that's a very big part of what we have brought those engine to the surface. Other aspect is the whole mobile apps. We brought mobile apps to the market almost 5 years back, but over a period of time with multiple implementations, I think we have perfected this to a point where it is truly a state of the art. Our mechanic anywhere, warehouse anywhere, that brings a lot of efficiency into the operations.
Yeah, I've seen Ramco bring a lot of innovations, to the market, just as what you just described, one after another. And as I see the demands in the marketplace shift, I've seen Ramco emerge with brand new products. As the needs of the marketplace require it, they've come up with new products. And so it seems like there's a significant amount of innovation that's coming, out of the organization.
Absolutely. And I think that fundamentally goes back to the way our software is architected. It is a very flexible architecture, and companies have to look at Ramco less as a software company, but really more as a platform that can help adapt and adopt to their changing business models and business requirements over a period of time. And that is something, flexibility that we bring from the platform perspective, and that drives all the innovation to the point that we have all these MRO labs in Singapore and other places that brings that flexibility, customer requirements, and our whole methodology of prototype that we do and take it to market.
Did you say you have an innovation lab in Singapore? Is that what you just said?
Yes, this is again something that we were pretty much ahead of our time in terms of building that lab almost 5 years back.
Oh, really?
That was created at that time as a collaboration between Singapore government, Ramco, and Air France KLM.
Yeah.
And of course, that has matured quite a bit, and we are churning out innovations one after another. Whether it is digital task cards, whether it is mobile apps, whether it is AIML engine, whether it's voice-based command for the user interface, optimization engines, all of those are churning out from that lab that we have.
Yeah. I think many times we talk at really high levels and we talk, broadly about some of the solutions. And I think sometimes we need to drill it down into what are the exact business problems that you're solving. Could we maybe hit on some of the business problems that you're solving through the use of your application?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I can take an example of AIML engine for that matter.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, when it is all scheduled tasks and checks, I think anybody can do it, right? But the question is, how do you deal with all the non-routines and unscheduled and AOG situations that happen all the time? Mm-hmm. And our AIML engine really takes a look at the historical data and is able to provide a good level of prediction for all those non-routines and unscheduled tasks that may happen, right?
Yeah.
And it can tell you with a very high level of confidence that there's a 60% chance or 80% chance that this part that was supposed to fail in, let's say, 200 hours will probably fail in 800 hours. 180 hours for that matter.
Yeah. So AIML, and what about engineering services?
Yeah. So engineering services, essentially, if you look at it, in terms of being able to take your task cards, the SBADs, or any other documentation that may come, and be able to actually read those structured documents and then extract the exact nature of the task itself, and then either add that to the library of task cards or be able to add that to the maintenance programs. Okay. And all that can be done in a very seamless manner.
Authoring, creation of structured task cards. And I'm obviously we're looking at baseline aircraft configuration and parts and materials and finance functions. And I think you've told me before that that's a unique element of Ramco that maybe some of the other MRO systems don't have, is the inclusion of finance.
Think about the whole, from MRO perspective, the quote to cash process. Okay. From the time you get an inquiry from your customers, being able to do the whole quoting process in a very quick manner, the whole turnaround time with respect to the quote itself, right? Because you have the contract well defined in the system. So that's where our contract management module ties to the scoping and estimation module, and that creates the estimation and then the whole collaboration with the customer that we provide through our customer portal. And once approval gets done, and then the optimization engine kicks in and gives you the complete optimal schedule for conducting that work, and within the turnaround time that has been given by the customer. Any non-routine that is found in the process, you again have the option to actually go back and collaborate with customers, get approvals, and proceed. Yeah. And all the work is said and done, and almost on a real-time basis, you can generate invoice and be able to get approval from customers and then send it to them for payment.
Yeah, so really modeling the entire MRO business process all the way from beginning to end, the entire engineering process, including technical publications, planning, scheduling, and production control.
Absolutely.
And that's an area that I wanted to focus on just for a second as well, because you know, I believe that some of these areas have become more and more mature within the Ramco product, and production control is one of those that's become more and more mature, and really is enabling MROs and facilities to assign and execute on the production, you know, work that's being accomplished. And out there, because of the amount of labor that we put on these jobs today, you're making a very significant difference. And this whole board behind me is filled with customers. I don't even know how many you have, but I know that you've done very significant implementations in all those areas, in all the major sectors of
I think it's important to understand that from every perspective, whether it's line maintenance, engine, long and hanger checks, and your component repair shops, pretty much all the flavors we of course hit with our solution. But it's important that we have developed very unique solutions for each of these segments. For example, for Panasonic, we deployed the whole line maintenance app that we have, that you can go offline with that app and carry out all the activities, come back in and sync up with the main system. Similarly, for Iberia and others, we have built some very unique solution around the engine maintenance. So if you're an engine MRO, you know the whole complexity around all the different gates and checks that the component has to go to, and then finally everything has to come back together. The whole planning and scheduling in a very optimal manner using our optimization engine.
You've solved some really unique problems, because when you're dealing with engine maintenance and production control around engine maintenance, there's unique problems that are different than heavy maintenance or different than line maintenance. And so it really makes execution and controlling and optimizing of that work you know, significantly better with what you're doing.
And that's exactly goes back to what I was telling earlier, the whole flexibility of the software and all the different engines that we bring in. We pretty much can solve every problem that exists in the different flavors of the MRO market.
Well, very good. Well, listen, I think we've probably hit on enough of these things. I hope that you've gained a little bit of insight into I'm going to call it the new Ramco, all right? And the refreshed, or not refreshed, but anyway, it's just really impressive that Ramco has been around for so long. They're a very stable company. They have very deep business logic, which is built into the products, and the innovation has continued to drive the product to be modern day and using modern day technology all the way across the enterprise. And so it's been really interesting to have this conversation with you today. If people would like to reach out to you and continue this conversation about how you can help them, how can they get in touch with you?
The best way to reach us is at contact@ramco.com, as simple as that.
Okay.
Or if you are at the MRO Americas today, I know it's the third day, but you come to our booth, it is, I believe, 28-24, and we are all here up until 1 p.m. and we'd love to talk to you more.
And are you on LinkedIn as well?
Yes, you can look me up, Manoj Singh at right there, and you can hit me at on LinkedIn. And just look at Ramco Systems on LinkedIn as well, and then we'll be more than happy to respond to any messages that you may have.
Another thing I just wanted to point out before we close that you've mentioned to me that I think is really important is that Ramco takes the approach of being able to solve pieces of this challenge that you have, the business problems you have, or the entire enterprise. You don't need to be thinking like, oh, we have to replace an entire enterprise if you're going to go with Ramco. If you have particular point solutions, behind me, there's all kinds of point solutions that you've implemented, and it's enabled people to grow into a broader enterprise based on their existing IT portfolio, because nobody out there has a clean slate, They all have an existing IT portfolio. And so it's important to note that with a modular kind of an approach, people can look at the breadth and the depth of what they're trying to implement and implement what's necessary for them.
So I think you're absolutely right. And I think, you don't have to rip and replace your existing legacy systems. And I think there's a whole, what we call as the digital layer that you can put on top of your existing legacy system using Ramco, right? Whether it's mobile app or digital task cards, we have very API-based integration framework that you can bring and attach or put a layer on top of your existing legacy system.
Just as we talk, all kinds of different approaches come up, and we could probably talk all day. And so my suggestion would be that if you have a challenge within your business and you'd like to come up with some innovative solutions, talk to Ramco, because I believe that they have a really strong application which can assist you in your business. Hey, thanks for the conversation today. I really appreciate it. And hey, thanks for watching. We have a number of interviews planned for today, so you're going to want to stand by. And I hope to be able to bring you interesting information that will help you to be successful in your business. Have a great day today. Bye.
Bye, everyone.